And I've listened to the debate today on this resolution, and one theme is common in all of it. Nowhere has there been an explanation of what is the emergency. What emergency is before us that requires a declaration at all today? If we go back to the beginning, the emergency that was at hand was the potential to overrun the capacity of our hospitals. That's a legitimate public health interest that the government should take action to ensure does not happen. However, 6 months later, as we went to the first renewal of the emergency declaration, we had long since passed that emergency. And every renewal since, there has been no explanation from the governor's administration, Commissioner of Public Health, anybody about what is the emergency. And I will tell you, COVID-19 is not the emergency. The pandemic is not the emergency that requires government action and control in the executive. Why do I say that? There are health conditions that happen all the time in our history. We don't have to go back to the Spanish flu, and we don't have declarations of public health emergency. Why did it happen this time? One was the very real condition of our hospitals at capacity and beyond, and the clear unknown of COVID-19 and this strain that we literally knew nothing about as it came to us. But once again, as we walk through, and now we're on a fourth renewal, in September when the renewal happened, the Committee of 10 didn't even meet to discuss it. And we extended it to the governor's assertion that he needed to have this executive power in order to be able to control what happened in our schools. That is a false assertion in this way. The Commissioner of Public Health, under current statute, has broad authority to deal with an issue that happens in school in concert with the State Department of Education. If there is an outbreak that is localized in a school, they have the capacity to close the school down. You don't need executive powers in order to do that. The next extension that was proposed was in January. The Committee of 10 did meet then. But I will tell you what was missing. There was nobody from the governor's office or the Department of Public Health who came to explain to the Committee of 10 what was the emergency. Because frankly, there was none. We were well past the danger of overrunning the capacity of our hospitals. The vaccine rollout was well underway under the auspices of the Department of Public Health. There was no need for the governor to continue his authority. But yet, along a party line vote of 6-4, after a debate over the particular areas of statute that we are arguing with, as opposed to what was the emergency at hand that required and necessitated an extension, especially as this legislative body was coming into regular session, and we could have dealt with any issue that needed to be done and require action. Did it again in May, and here we are for the fourth time, and I go back to where I started. What is the emergency? And I will argue there is none. There is no emergency that requires unfettered executive control to dictate to the residents of the state of Connecticut what they can and can't do. If you drive around this state, the residents of this state are long past an emergency situation. They've gone back to life. Businesses are opening. People are back to work. And yet we have a governor who is demanding total control over what we do as free people. And Mr. Speaker, it is troubling that we are at this position and that we are continuing to allow the governor to have unfettered control over our lives when he has not displayed what the emergency that he needs to have control over. We as a legislative body, as many have pointed out, are more than willing to come in and deal with anything that needs to be done. We are here today dealing with an issue here that frankly we shouldn't be. The executive orders should have expired. We just finished a regular session. If there were any of those orders that needed to be codified into law, even if for only a temporary basis, we could have done that. And yet the governor did not present to us any legislative language to do that. We did deal with some of them. We need to restore the people's representation within this body. We were elected to represent the people of Connecticut in each of our districts. And yet we are abdicating our responsibility by ceding the legislative power to the executive branch. That is not our form of government, and we should stand up and reject this resolution and restore the co-equal branches of government, restore representation of the people, and frankly allow the people of the state of Connecticut to get back to living their lives without the dictates of the governor telling them how they can do that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative France, thank you for your remarks.